Refining NZ currently supplies 40% of our country's energy needs. However, to meet the expected growth of energy demand, it is essential that a major expansion and replacement program is undertaken to ensure continuity of supply for New Zealand and the ongoing sustainability of the business.
On the 27th of April this year, shareholders have got a really important decision to make. We have our AGM up here at Marsden Point, and we'll be asking you to decide whether we should go ahead with a $365 million new state-of-the-art platform. And so we've got a real opportunity here to actually increase the amount of petrol that we do make for New Zealand. It will make us even more reliable, it will make us even more cost-effective, and it will significantly reduce our environmental footprint. That sounds like a great idea.
So Ken, explain for us what you're planning here with this expansion project.
We've got a piece of 1964 kit that currently converts the crude oil fraction that makes petrol into petrol you can put in a car. It's in sterling service for us over the last 48 years, and it's getting a bit tired. We'll probably have to spend about $105 million on it to actually just keep it going for another few years. So we've actually identified a really interesting opportunity, which is to replace that bit of kit with a piece of modern technology.
How much does this project increase capacity?
Well, what it will enable us to do is to produce about 2 million barrels a year more of petrol. Petrol that is currently being imported, petrol that New Zealand needs.
But what's in it for shareholders?
That improved throughput that we'll give, that improved product lift that we'll do, that energy efficiency that we'll deliver, all flows through into increased processing fees. And that means higher profitability, and that flows through into greater dividends. And we've already seen the share price increase quite considerably as a result of this news hitting the market. Payback time on this project is within 4 years of startup. And so we're hoping to be debt-free probably around 2020.
And how are you going to fund it?
We had a major expansion project, 2009, we brought it on stream. Over the last 2 years, we've been with reasonably healthy margins, great strategy, great operational control. We managed to pay off all that debt. So we're absolutely ready to look at the next best thing to do.
What's in this for New Zealand, though?
This refinery came into existence in the 1960s because there was great concern about the perilous state of oil supplies, and New Zealand was concerned about getting oil supplies if it didn't have a refinery. The second thing it was concerned about was those oil supplies that it was getting through imports were really high priced. Now that logic, that concern is still with us today. That having that flexibility to make oil products here in New Zealand is going to be even more critical as it was in 1960s.
And what will this project be able to handle in terms of New Zealand-produced crude?
Well, what this project will enable us to do is to process more of New Zealand's crude than we can do today. The ability to actually, if you like, use your own resources and translate them into the products that the nation needs could be a really, really big boon for the future.
So what does this project do for greenhouse gas emissions?
Well, this is probably one of the greatest greenhouse gas improvements that this refinery will ever put in place. We will improve not only our energy efficiency, we will actually reduce, in absolute terms, the amount of CO2 that this refinery produces by 120,000 tonnes a year.
How much will this project actually increase capacity at Marsden Point?
Well, we'll be able to process probably between 2 and 3 million barrels of crude more than we currently do. And almost all of that will be converted into extra petrol that will be available here in New Zealand. And what that's going to do is increase our market share from something like 50% at the moment to around 65%.
But is there any guarantee that the customers will buy them?
At Marsden Point, I can make more petrol more cheaply, more reliably, and more environmentally friendly than you can import it.
So why not, though, just do a simple renovation of the existing plant?
And we'll actually have to do that if shareholders don't support the growth project. But all that will do will be to retain our current capability. Now, currently, we outperform all the Australian refineries. We outperform refineries of our size in the Asia-Pacific region. But we'll only retain that position if we keep moving forward. And my concern, if we don't go forward with growth, is that we slip back competitively.
So why do small shareholders need to decide on this? Surely it's a done deal.
Well, the board has made a recommendation to shareholders to support the growth project. But remember, directors vote in the best interests of the company. When shareholders sit down, they vote in their own particular best interest. And for me, our ordinary shareholders are really important to me. They represent something like 17% of the company's value, and their voice needs to be heard.
And if you had one line to explain to people why they needed to vote for it, what would it be?
Well, I think this is completely in line with refining NZ's strategic direction, which is to provide decent returns for shareholders, to delight its customer, and to demonstrate to New Zealand that this is a great company delivering for the country as well as for shareholders.
Refining NZ has demonstrated the long-term supply benefits and improvement in dividends from the CCR project. If you have a view on the project, then please express it by voting at the AGM.